From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Right now on KPIX 5 and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, the Banco Brown shooting in San Francisco sparks a heated debate to arm or not to arm security guards. Well, this morning we get perspective from a company that has experience with both. After devastating flooding and a mass shooting in Half Moon Bay brought attention to the living conditions of farm workers, how are these essential workers holding up now? And it's San Francisco versus the South Bay in a billion-dollar battle for the bowl. Good morning. It is Saturday, May 20th. I'm Devin Feely. Let's start with a quick check of our weather with First Alert meteorologist Paul Hagan.
Starting off with quite a bit of fog out there this morning, and that's going to put the brakes on any substantial warm-up that we have today, even though the fog is going to back up to the coast. High temperatures are going to be near or slightly below average today. That shifts on Sunday. Will be near or slightly above average for Sunday afternoons. High temperatures, so you can look forward to that. We're in the low to mid-50s pretty much across the board this morning. Inland temperatures should be up to around 70 already by noon for the warmest locations. Mostly 70s inland this afternoon, 60s around the bay with 50s along the coast.
You're going to want to give yourself some extra time heading up to wine country this weekend. Now, earlier this morning, Caltrans closed 11 miles of Highway 37 near Vallejo. They're repairing a railroad crossing in that area, and the closure lasts through 11 tomorrow morning. Well, happening today, elected officials and community organizations will hold a public summit in Half Moon Bay. Now, the goal is to create a space to talk about issues that farm workers are currently facing, like the need for affordable housing and access to clean water and health care.
We really need immediate relief now, right? So I think this is a national conversation, not just local, that for years and years and years, farm workers continue to live in situations, work in situations that are not the best at all. And we need more humane reform. We need immediate reform. We need better housing, better conditions. We should be treating them like royalty. They put the food on our table, our nutrition that we eat each and every day. And we need to hear from them too. They need to have a voice in this process. And our elected officials are taking time to do that. Thanks to the organizers that made this happen. We're so grateful for this moment. What farm workers have gone through on the coast with the flood and the mass shooting, the economic crisis, COVID relief. And we hope that out of this moment in time, people really take a look, call to action and say, we can no longer stand by and let this happen. It's time for change. It's time for now. And thank you to all of you that are making this happen and sharing this story.
The event is open to the public. It's scheduled from 1 to 3 p.m. today at the Boys and Girls Club of the Coastside at the Coastside Event Center. Well, to the South Bay now, where a school is going above and beyond, helping a growing number of migrant families arriving in their community. Our Jose Martinez spoke with one student who overcame enormous challenges just to get here and is now stepping up to help others.
It was definitely an emotional day here at Escuela Popular, one of the many institutions in San Jose experiencing a sudden influx of immigrant students. We actually spent some time with one of them who just crossed the border 4 years ago when he was only 17 years old. He says it was a tough journey, but the image of his grandmother kept him alive. Leiser Garcia left his home in Guatemala in search of a better life for his family almost 4 years ago.
I have to cross the whole country of Mexico by myself because part of my family was in Guatemala and part of my family is here.
He was 17 when he started this journey, running away from gang members who wanted to force him to join them.
One time I cried because I remember my grandma, and I cried when I was thinking, oh, what if I die here? I'm not going to see my family again. What if I die here? And that will be my life.
But he made it here to San Jose. He is now 21 and a full-time student at Escuela Popular, one of the many institutions in San Jose experiencing a sudden influx of immigrant students.
We definitely have unaccompanied minors that have showed up to our door, so we want to make sure that we provide them with a loving, caring environment that we can both support them in every which way. That consists of food, clothing, bare necessities, mental health services, legal services.
Karen Martinez, community relations advocate at Escuela Popular, tells me that the school is preparing for an even larger influx of new students after Title 42 expired last week.
We currently have 500 students on a wait list. We are currently working to make calls, and we call each and every one of them individually to work to meet their needs. We find out, what they've gone through, what they're going through, what their needs are, and then we help to support them in learning English. We also have our high school where they can also get a high school diploma, and we help them in transitions of higher education.
Santa Clara County and the city of San Jose are also working on a welcoming migrant response plan that would activate different departments to help incoming migrant families. A live look at San Francisco now, where charges have been officially dismissed against a former San Francisco police officer accused of shooting and killing an unarmed carjacking suspect. Officer Chris Seminoa and his training officer responded to a call of a stolen minivan in December of 2017. Now, the video here shows that they chased that van into a dead end. As Keita O'Neill got out and ran past the patrol car, the officer shot him through the window. Then District Attorney Chesa Boudin filed homicide charges, but his replacement, Brooks Jenkins, recently moved to dismiss those charges. O'Neill's family asked State Attorney General Rob Bonta to bring his own charges, but Bonta denied that request. In a letter to Jenkins, Bonta says, quote, "The available evidence shows that the charges against Officer Seminoa cannot be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. Therefore, your decision to dismiss the charges against the officer was not an abuse of discretion. Accordingly, we decline to take over the prosecution of this matter." An attorney for O'Neill's family responded in a statement saying, quote, "We are devastated by Mr. Bonta's decision to let another murderous cop go free without a trial or even a preliminary hearing." Now, the announcement comes as San Francisco's DA is defending her decision to drop charges in another high-profile case, the deadly shooting of Banco Brown in a Walgreens by a private security guard. The case has sparked debate about the training of armed guards and whether they should even carry guns at all. Surveillance video shows the moments that Michael Earl Wayne Anthony confronted Brown on suspicion of shoplifting last month, pinning him to the ground and then shooting Brown as he backed out of the store. Anthony told investigators he opened fire because Brown had threatened to stab him. The DA's report revealed that the private security firm had recently changed its policy, directing guards to engage in hands-on recovery of merchandise. Now, California's Bureau of Security and Investigative Services requires security guards to complete 40 hours of training. They need to pass a separate firearms training course if they want to carry a gun, and need extra training and permits to carry pepper spray or a baton. Now, some say that is still not enough. Kelsey Thorne spoke with a private security company to gain some insight.
In the wake of Banco Brown's death, many people are talking about whether or not security guards should be armed. Evan Frazier owns a security company in the Bay Area that offers clients both armed and unarmed guards.
Clients, rather, they tend to lean towards armed security in like rougher neighborhoods or neighborhoods with a little bit more extensive crime, or particular businesses in areas where they continuously get robbed or there's a high theft.
Evans says many of his armed guards are former police officers, so they have extensive training with firearms. But that amount of training, Evans says, is not required by the state.
The uniform armed guard that you see, like say in front of Bank of America or something like that, right? They don't have to have any prior experience.
Evans says without that prior experience, some guards can have trouble making the right decision during stressful situations. That's why Evan thinks it would be good if the state required and provided more training.
Say if you are a vehicle patrol person, they would put on, a state paid for maybe a tactical driving or offensive or defensive driving, that type of thing.
But some critics think no security guard should have a gun. They have pointed to programs like SFPD's Ambassador program as an example of a way to offer security without being armed. The ambassadors, mostly retired officers, patrol the streets not with guns, but with radios.
We can call the police directly with our radio, and hopefully the response will be quick enough.
Evan told me he thinks programs like that could work in some situations, but he still believes armed guards are necessary in others.
What happens if you take away all armed guards or security for that matter? It basically becomes a free-for-all, and we're kind of seeing that in certain areas of the city, unfortunately.
Evan says he understands some people's issue with armed security, and that's why he's an advocate for more training.
And now to the big buzz in the sports world as we take a live look at Levi's Stadium. The Super Bowl may be coming back to the Bay Area in 2026, 10 years after our last time hosting. It is not official yet, but Levi's Stadium is said to be a lock for hosting Super Bowl 60. NFL owners are expected to award the hosting rights to the 49ers at their meeting early next week. That means that 2026 would be a busy year for sports here in the Bay, with Levi's also set to host the FIFA World Cup. You may remember that 10 years ago, Levi's Stadium hosted Super Bowl 50 when the Broncos beat the Panthers. But San Francisco was the center for Super Bowl City with all of the parties, all the festivities, including the NFL experience. But is the Bay Area ready for all that comes with hosting the big game? Just a decade later, Wilson Walker with a pulse of how people feel about this up and down the Bay.
651, please. The business is bad. It's been very bad for over 3 years from the pandemic start, 2020 until now.
With his liquor store now surrounded by very quiet sidewalks, even at lunch hour, Omar Adibi says the possibility of another Super Bowl is great news. 2016's big party was held just off his doorstep.
It was great. Yeah, it's a good year. Hopefully come back.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we need some real positive news for the Bay Area.
Supervisor Asha Safai, who's hoping to be the city's mayor by 2026, says the event could become part of a San Francisco comeback.
I mean, I think that it's a city that's on the rebound, a city that's on recovery, a city that's looking forward to a reimagining itself.
The city is extremely wrong.
Back in 2016, Super Bowl 50 landed on top of a roaring economy and a number of social justice movements. The game itself became the focus of repeated protests.
Even though it may be a world stage in regards to the Super Bowl, it has to be a world stage in justice.
7 years later, the San Francisco landscape has changed in some respects, and the same could be said for the city that would actually host the game.
So I know our city's had a deficit and other cities do as well, and that's why it's important to get our costs paid for by the host committee and not service these events on the backs of the cities. We can't afford to do that.
Santa Clara Mayor Lisa Gilmore says the next Super Bowl could really help in this economic environment, and the last one could help as well.
And it's a big win for all of us, but we learned a lot from Super Bowl 50, and I think the lessons learned from Super Bowl 50 will have to incorporate into Super Bowl 60.
So let's break down the numbers. An independent report commissioned by the host committee in 2016 looked at the economic boost of Super Bowl 50 and the final score. It had a net positive economic impact of at least $240 million, more than 57% of the revenue benefited San Francisco. Just over 12% went to San Jose, 7% to the host city of Santa Clara, about the same to areas near SFO, and nearly 4% to Oakland. Now, of course, there is no guarantee that a Bay Area city will play host to the Super Bowl, but San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan says he already sent a letter to the NFL pitching the city as a great place to host Super Bowl activities.
San Jose is going to be the center of activity. Obviously, we've got an airport 5 minutes from our incredible downtown. We've got better weather. We have an incredible convention center here, tons of hotel rooms, and an amazing fan base down here.
And a key part of Mahan's argument as to why San Jose is a better choice in San Francisco, that hour-long drive to get from the city to the game.
One of the things we learned during the pandemic is that commutes are overrated. Nobody wants to drive an hour back and forth. Our airport's 5 minutes from downtown, and we're about 10 minutes from Levi's Stadium.
Well, that's the pitch from San Jose, but you can bet that San Francisco city leaders want to play a big role. Supervisor Asha Safai, who's hoping to be the city's mayor in 2026, says the event could become part of a San Francisco comeback.
I mean, I think that it's a city that's on the rebound, a city that's on recovery, a city that's looking forward to a reimagining itself. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we need some real positive news for the Bay Area.
Mayor London Breed tweeted yesterday how excited she is for the opportunity to bring Super Bowl 60 to the Bay and what it can do for the city and for the region. Now, ultimately, we will have to wait and see what the NFL decides to do.